Welcome to the Soul Ability Superhuman Laboratory, where we uncover the secrets to upgrading your mind, body, soul, and business. On today's episode, we have Gerard Powell. Jerry is the CEO and the founder of Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Costa Rica. And we're here right now, and it's the most amazing place that I've ever been. The most transformational place that I've ever been. And I wanted to just give Jerry a chance to share with you guys some of his story and some insights that he's had throughout his life, because he has had an amazing life and a lot of experience in a lot of different things. And just wanted him to share it with you. So, Jerry, welcome to the show. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for giving me the chance to share some of my story too here. And,
thank you so much for coming. And I met you about a half a year ago.
Yeah, last year,
and
November.
And it's been a great experience for me. So I'm very happy that we had the chance to meet you.
Yeah, I love this place. I mean, for me and my wife Sema, it's been like huge in our lives to help us kind of get over some blocks and figure out who we are as people, and I think just get to the next step in our lives, and become who we're actually supposed to be.
It's pretty easy with you guys because you're awfully authentic people, and I'm not just saying that to say it. It's the truth. You've been easy to work with here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, what's your superpower? If you had to say, like, your one superpower, what is it?
If I had a superpower, it would be that I haven't quit yet.
Yeah, because you've been through a lot.
Yeah.
You want to tell some people a little gist of it, because I know it's a long story.
I was born in Pennsylvania in a pretty non-normal environment that was kind of violent.
Mm-hmm.
And I had early childhood challenges with school, and quit school, wound up in jail at a real young age, and decided to do something with my life. And I ended up making a bunch of money, but the whole time that I was doing in this process of making money, I was terribly, terribly unhappy. And really unhappy for a guy that was doing transactions the size of the transactions I was doing.
Yeah.
And I just, I lost my will to live. And I sort of got the American dream in a big way. And it made me feel worse, this having money and things like that.
You were a millionaire before you were 30 years old.
I was a millionaire in my 20s and got rich after that.
Yeah.
I got what most people would consider rich after that. And I tried to commit suicide a couple times, went to rehab, went to years and years and years of counseling, and nothing worked. And I mean, nothing worked. It looked like it would work for a couple days, then it wouldn't work. And I ended up just a sad, mad, angry, really mean guy.
Right.
Really mean guy. And I was ready to give up, because it looked like I had rung every bell. I had sex with everybody I wanted to have sex with. I had saved, more than $50 million. I had everythh. I had companies where people saluted me. I had all kinds of stuff, and I was super, super, super empty. I had a wife. I had kids. I was an alcoholic. I was a drug addict. I'd done it all. There's not much that I left untried, and and I was super sad. I was suicidal.
Yeah, and some people think like, man, you had everything, like all the money, all this stuff, and they think like being a drug addict and like not being happy is an okay sacrifice for all those things, because they don't have it yet.
Right.
But once you have it, it's like
it's the great it's the great mystery.
Right.
Of chasing the thing that can't fill you up. It's a great it's a lifelong endeavor for most people that they people, when I tell them the story, a lot of them look at me and go, well, you were unlucky to actually get the money. But I was actually lucky to get the money because it highlighted that money wasn't it.
Right.
So it was fortunate, but not in the way people would assume it's a fortunate event,
Right. Yeah. So it just like showed you that it's like, here, this is the thing that everybody's chasing, and it's not what everybody thinks it is.
Absolutely, it's not.
Where if you never get it, you'll always kind of like wonder, is it going to change everything in my life? And
unless you're super smart.
Right.
Because if you're super smart, you can see what somebody else did and learn from it.
Yeah.
That's the thing that is important, because there's so many psychologists out there that say, hey, you have to go through this yourself to learn. And it's absolutely not true. Ants will show you that. It's just a fact of life. Ants will show you that. If you watch ants, and I hope that I'm smarter than an ant. I really pray.
I think you are.
That I'm smarter than an ant. But if you watch ants, and there's, let's say, something toxic, a toxic spill on the road. And an ant train is coming through. Mm-hmm. The first couple of ants get killed. The rest of the ants go around it like it was. So you can learn from other people's mistakes. It's simple to do. All you got to be doing is paying attention. If one of those ants wasn't watching, that ant's dead, right? Yeah. But as long as you're watching and you take things to heart, you can actually learn from other people.
Yeah. And so that kind of brings me to like a common theme that I've had among a lot of my guests. And I have some coaches and mentors in my life that help guide me to get me to where I am. And ultimately, like, the best one has been myself, but they kind of showed me the way and asked me the right questions. Do you have any have you ever had any coaches, mentors, like people like that to kind of guide you and show you like, hey, this is how you...
No, because I was one of the dumb ants. Like, I was not a smart ant. So in my case, I had to... no, I did watch guys make money. And I took note of how they were doing that, how they were making money. But I didn't, in my life, I had nobody to teach me. My dad was a very similar type personality, although he wasn't a wealthy guy. He was a playboy in his own way. He was a hardworking playboy. And so that's... that's all that I had to learn from. There's a million Tony Robinses and Gary V's and all these guys out there that can show you how to make money, but there's very few people showing you how to live, a rich life. Yeah. And by a rich life, I mean the real meaning of it. Living life as a child. We all did. All of us. I don't care who you were. You can go to Somalia and you can see. We go to war-torn nations, and children are living life, even in the face of bombings, everything. They're with their friends, they're having fun, they're exploring, they're where the world is new every day. And the worst things, and we're so
they're curious.
Yeah, they're curious. They're interested. They're with their friends. Yeah, they're sharing experiences. They're doing all these things. We're driving in a box. We're driving in a tin box down a road with a million people, not talking to anybody. Then we go to a new box, a big box. We open that big box. We walk in. We get into our small box. In that, and then we get into our cubicle, and we think, and we come out, and because the box we drive home is a little nicer, and then we go to another box. We live in that box, and it's the quality of our boxes might go up. But the quality of our life sucks, and it's not even life. It's not even life. And even the business guys that just chase business things, they look like it's fun. And for a certain personality type, it is fun. The problem with it is that the fun has to stop. Yeah. The fun has to stop at some point, and then life has to be experienced. Right. So.
Like you were there.
Yeah. I was so there, I was so there. I'd and then after you get the nicest box to drive, you start collecting other boxes. Like, it's the craziest shit. It's a box to life. It's we're
just constantly going to the next box, the next house, the next car, the next thing. Yeah. And like, what does it all mean? They're essentially like the same things. They're just like different packaging.
They are the same things. Yeah. Same things.
Do you feel like now in your life? Like you're living a rich life, like you've got to that point?
I feel that I'm learning to live a rich life.
Yeah.
Like that, and I do feel richness in my everyday life. And that's something I've never felt before. I felt victory.
Yeah.
I felt victory. And the problem with feeling victory.
Like I won.
Yeah. Well, the problem with that is that victory is not a fulfilling feeling. Mm-hmm. It's a conquering feeling. Right. So if you fill yourself up with conquering feelings, if that's the only thing that you can, then all you're left to do is conquer. So you're going to rip shit and burn every day of your life and see, and then when you get old or you can't conquer anymore, you look to new things to try to conquer instead of feeling the richness. And that's the key to this thing is what is richness to you. So so just because you're looking at someone else and seeing what they think their richness is, they might be 100% wrong about their own, and you try to replicate it. So what ends up happening, and especially in suburbia in the United States, is everybody's looking at everybody else to find the thing that they believe is making the other guy happy, who's copying that off some other guy. Right. And it's like it's a bad, that when school you used to play that game.
They're just like,
it's a circle jerk. It's
constantly going around.
It's ridiculous stuff. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's ridiculous. And you got to be an ant who's smart enough to stop. There was this thing that they used to say in the army is that when you're digging a trench and you hit water, the first thing you do is stop. So the thing is this is that if you can stop, and stop means, look around, observe, meditate, see. Like I learned something. I used to live in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I know you're from Freehold, right? Yeah. So Freehold's a nice town compared to Scranton. It really is. So like
I'm from Jackson, but it's the same thing.
Same vibe, right? But I remember when I left Pennsylvania for Los Angeles, and I got a house in Malibu, and I was living on the beach there, and I was driving, and I couldn't drive down the PCH without just watching the water because I was so amazed at it because I haven't seen it before.
I love California.
I love it too.
It's fucking beautiful.
But within 2 years, I could drive down the PCH and never look at the water. So we got to be super careful of what we're seeing.
That's a hedonic adaptation. Like you get used to like the thing that was kind of scandalous or like beautiful, and it just becomes like normal.
It becomes normal. Yeah. And I think that's a good reason to do medicines
like a reset
that can show us the truth about what we're looking at, because the part that I find amazing is that even the things that we're seeing, if we're observing people, we stop and see that's not even what it looks like. That's our eyes' interpretation, the different frequencies of color that are set up in our brain one way. And then if we get to, let's say, a quality plant medicine, if you get to quality plant medicine, you look at those same things and you see the life in them. Right. And you could have an awakening just off that. I could take someone and take a potted plant, just a potted plant, give them some medicine, put them in a panic room with nothing in it other than the plant, and they would have a life-changing experience just watching the leaves of a plant. Right? It's not kidding you.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. It can be.
It can be, yeah.
So like at Rythmia, your life has turned into this place where you're helping people transform their lives and figure out themselves. Yeah. Like what's the most like amazing out of all the people that have been here? I mean, there's like so many. What's the most amazing transformation that you've seen?
Well, I've seen people honestly get rid of their cancer in front of me. Yeah. Like, well, you were here just this week. A woman had a lump in her breast. Yeah. That she's had for 2 years, hasn't changed size in a day, and in one night, it went away, completely gone. And if that's not, that's kind of miraculous. I mean, you gotta, people would put me in a straitjacket if I was saying that in
Right.
front of the AMA in the United States. They put me in a straitjacket.
Yeah.
They'd say, that we were on crack, but you spoke to her. You said, like, I didn't touch her breast, but I have to believe her. She was.
There's no reason to make that
and
up.
everything. There's crazy shit. Oops, sorry.
It's okay.
And I see those, but the ones that I see the most, that are the most transformational, are guys, between, let's say, 30 and 60, that believed their life was one particular way for either 30, 40, or 50 years, and they come here and they have a complete breakdown of who they are, and they're all of the structures and all of the things that they believed were true in their life. They start crying, and they start crying, and it starts out as cries of pain that I can't believe that I invested 37 years in a way of looking at this, and then to find out at this stage that it's all bullshit. It's all fucking lies.
Yeah.
And then the once they get through the pain of that, there's the joy of a newborn. And not a newborn, the joy of a 3-year-old kid that gets a pony or something. It's like this childlike joy comes over people and stays, because they get to experience life for what life really is. And there's a pendulum to that. When they first get out of here, they swing too far to one side because they've been far on the other side. So a lot of people will say, that's it, I'm quitting my job, I'm moving to India, I'm going to do these things, or I'm going to become a full-time surfer, and I don't care, I'll eat bananas off trees. But then it eventually swings back in that, because I'm going to tell you what I find. Am I talking too much?
No.
Okay. What I find interesting is that most of us in this country are either Christian or Jewish, like most of us.
Yeah.
And we've either been going to synagogue or going to church or some form of church or whatever in our lives, but we really didn't believe in this shit. We didn't believe in any of it. We took doing the right thing as saying a prayer here and there when we're drunk. We say, "Oh God, I'll never do this again," or whatever
It's
that
when
prayer
the bad
is.
shit happens, you say,
God, if I get fired, oh God, if you just give me one more job, I'll do the right thing. Da 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 da. That kind of. But we really don't believe in it. And then once you do this medicine, and there's a bunch of teaching plants that can teach you how to do this. But once you do either mushrooms or ayahuasca, arcana, or any of these San Pedro, any of these teaching plants, and you see that there's no beginning and no end, and that your spirit goes on. Well, the immediate reaction to that as well, if this goes on, then I want to spend my life here at this time doing the things that I love, and what I love to do is surf. Well, then you would say, but then it eventually comes back because self-fulfillment in the form of pleasure seeking.
Yeah.
It doesn't have long-term value. What has value is when you see the connectivity between people and you start assisting others. It's the only way to help. It's true selfishness. People think it's selflessness.
Oh yeah.
It's not. True selfishness is knowing the game and playing it. And the game is, the more that I help you, the more that I help me. And that's why, and I just keep going with this, that why people say, oh, I'm clearing up the environment because I want my children to have. That's bullshit. You're clearing up the environment because there's some part of you that knows you're coming back here in some way. Yeah. It's all self.
And because it feels good for you inside. Yeah. That's why whenever people try to give someone else a gift that I see, or even myself, I let them do it because I know it's going to make them feel good. It's not about me feeling good. It's about them feeling good about giving. Right.
I think that's why you're in the business you're in. I think that you were born with some kind of knowledge that helping people is fun.
Yeah.
And it is.
It
really, really is.
That's the most fulfilling thing you can do, is actually help somebody.
It's the single most fun thing. This is what people don't get.
Yeah.
Mother Teresa had one of the most fun lives. It looked crazy. feeding sandwiches to kids in Calcutta looks a little nuts, but holy shit, is it fun to give somebody something and watch them experience the thing. Because you see, if you're a smart guy like yourself, you're going to be able to give yourself enough shit throughout your whole life. You're going to have as much as you want to, as much as you want to consume, you're going to be able to consume. But to watch, and because of that, the fun of even giving to yourself wears off so quickly. It's such a thing. Do something to yourself 10 times. Like give yourself 10 cars, and by the 8th car, you don't even want another car. It's
all the same.
It's bullshit. But watching somebody else get something that they were unable to get before, now there's juice in that.
Yeah,
real juice.
That's why I'm doing coaching now, because I want to help people to get that too.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like a selfish thing.
It is,
but it's also that I want to help them.
Yeah, but it is. Here's the thing you got to see. That's selfish in the greatest. I wish Donald Trump had that kind of selfishness.
Right.
And I wish most of these leaders, Putin, you take these guys and if they were driven by that kind of selfishness, we'd be in a pretty good spot, dude.
We'd be in a
pretty good spot. We
would be. Yeah. And more people should be like that. And I don't understand why they're not.
I think things swing. I think things swing all different ways. So I mean, there were societies that were run by women. There's proof of it, archaeological proof that occurred. I believe that there was very technologically based societies that have fallen.
I agree.
Before.
Yeah.
So we're just in a time. We're in a white male driven time. This is what's driving this time, and it's changing. But like all things, it's changing in time, and it's the illusion is that it's getting worse. That's the illusion of this particular change. It's actually getting so much better because it's getting worse.
Yeah. Have you ever read the book? I think it's Better Angels of Our Nature or something like that.
No,
it's about it's statistics and stuff like that in the history of violence in humankind, and this is actually, as far as we know, the least violent.
Yeah.
And the safest and the best time to be alive as a human.
Yeah.
And things will just keep getting better, even in the last 50 years, even since the 1960s.
So that's a great book. When you go, will you text me that?
I will.
That I want to get that book.
Yeah, I'll text you it.
Very interesting book.
And I'll put it in the show notes for everyone that's listening.
Okay, cool. That'd be a great book to get.
So, you've seen the biggest transformations in guys 30 to 60 and
men and women.
Yeah, men and women. Yeah. But you also kind of reached a tipping point in your life at 30. You made $1 million in the bank. Not just millionaire. I was that kind of millionaire. Not like you. $1 million in the bank. That's pretty hard to do. I know a lot of entrepreneurs that are millionaires, but they don't have $1 million in the bank. They have hardly anything.
When I was a kid, when I was 30, a millionaire meant having $1 million in the bank.
Yeah. What advice would you give to your 30-year-old self, knowing what you know now, looking
about
back?
Making money or about
anything, in life, money, what to do with it, how to treat people?
I would go wherever I could find somebody who's a shaman of some type. And I would just sit down with them, and even if it didn't feel like it was something I wanted to do, I would have forced myself at gunpoint to go do some plant medicine and to wake the fuck up. That's exactly what and I don't think it would have made me make less money. I don't think it would have. I think it probably would have, but boy, would it have improved my life. Crazy. And I really believe this. A lot of people won't do it.
They're afraid.
Because they have so much invested. What if I do this plant medicine and within a week, I don't want to get in the little box to go to the bigger box, to go into the smaller box, to get out of the box, to come home to the box. Oh man,
what a terrible thing.
What if, right?
What if I become not an asshole anymore?
Exactly.
What if I become a better person?
Yeah.
And sometimes people even talk about the plant medicine as a cheating. People that are kind of spiritual and they only practice meditation and stuff like that, which is super important too.
Yeah.
They're well, the psychedelics and plant medicine, that's cheating.
I mean, what do you think about
cheating at being a better person, not being an asshole anymore? I don't know if that's such a bad thing.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
And like, what would really, what when I look at people and I see them trying so hard, and I said, why are you trying so hard to make money? And he goes, well, I don't want to go broke. And I just thought about that, and I thought, have I ever known someone?
Mm-hmm.
Have I ever known someone in Scranton that went so broke that they missed a meal? And I really thought about it, and I thought, I've never known anybody who's missed a meal, and who's skipped a meal.
Yeah.
I've known guys who missed a meal because they're playing golf but I don't know anybody who said. People come to me and said, hey, I have people come to me, I'm so out of money, I need a new car. I heard that. But I never said, hey, I'm so out of money, I need a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Nobody ever runs out of money. Very few people get stranded and are homeless that don't have a huge psychological disorder.
Right. They have something going on. That's
so this making money out of fear that you're going to miss a sandwich.
Yeah.
It doesn't even exist in this society. It might exist in the slums of
right.
Brazil.
In other countries,
there are places
different
that
situations.
exist. But look at it. It doesn't happen in New Jersey, dude.
Not really, no.
Look at or Santa Monica.
Definitely not Santa Monica.
People aren't.
They might not be able to afford
to live in Santa Monica.
Certain restaurants.
True.
At Santa Monica,
yeah.
But there's still food somewhere.
There's food. So like this, there's food, there's shelter, there's clothing, there's everything.
Yeah. So if everything ended today, like you didn't have Rythmia anymore, nothing was left, right? Except you can like leave, like this is a question that one of my mentors asks, leave 3 truths. What as your legacy, what would they be? Like you're on your deathbed and like
I'm telling my kid,
your kid, or just like a video to like leave to the world. Like, what are 3 truths? I
would say to just love the people around them. Number 1, love the people around them. That even though you don't have any, spend time with them, and then let them know you love them, and that would be. That would be it, because I see people who do the first thing, they love the people around them. I see people who do the second thing, and we're in a family that was so close. It was so close, like we had a small house and but nobody ever said I love you.
Right.
It was like a war. It was like a controlled war zone. Like so those 3 things make all the difference. They make all the difference, and by telling someone I love them, that means showing my authentic self. That yes, son, you know what? I wasn't the starting basketball player in the basketball team, and I went to the truth about who you are, and even in your weakness, that you love them so much.
Right.
That'd be the key. That's the whole thing. Money, this other bullshit doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
The most important thing.
But authentic people tend to make money.
They do.
They do.
It's just like,
it's just the truth.
I say this all the time. Yeah. Like everyone's trying, like you see, especially in like Hollywood or even in business, like all these entrepreneurs trying to be like, I want to be like the next Steve Jobs. I want to be like the next Elon. I want to be like the next Oprah or whatever. But all those people were never the next. They were just themselves, like super authentic.
Absolutely.
Like, and they were the caricature of like, Oprah doesn't fit what they thought that she should be to be like a talk show host.
Absolutely.
Or Elon, like, you're not a rocket scientist.
No, I'm so not a rocket scientist.
You know, like
he's not a rocket scientist.
Yeah,
he's like, putting rockets on.
You're putting rockets on them. You can't do that. You're not a rocket scientist. You can't, you've never been in the auto industry. You can't make electric cars. You know what I mean? Like those people are like the ones that are really authentic to themselves. Always.
Agreed. I so agree with you.
And even back to like Thomas Jefferson, right? Thomas Jefferson was one of the best, like the greatest minds of the United States ever.
Yep.
And he was super authentic in himself. Like I read his biography, and he was like a pretty spiritual guy.
He was super spiritual. Yeah.
Like, and he only made it to that level because he was himself. Like he was the first president to like not dress up in the White House, to kind of dress like a farmer and wear sandals and stuff, and people criticize him for it, but he was just being himself, you know? Yeah. And I feel like that's you. Like you're super authentic guy. Like you're totally yourself, and you don't let anybody try to make you be somebody else that you're not.
I'm trying not to.
Yeah.
You know, I'm old too. You got to figure I'm 53.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be 54.
You have experience, but a lot of people don't. You're not old.
No.
A lot of people don't learn from their experience. Like
True.
they can be 50, 60, 70, 80 years old and they don't have this kind of wisdom because they just never woke up. You know, they never learned from their experiences, and they built this life around something that wasn't truly them. Like someone else's.
Absolutely. They live someone else's life.
Someone else's life.
That's the scariest shit, dude. That's why, I'd hate to do medicine when I'm 80.
Yeah.
And yet people do it for the first time when they're 80. And then you have 80 years invested in living in someone else's
But it's never too late to just
It's
change.
never too late, because this is the thing too. And the medicine told us this, that when you do medicine, all the time you've lost is given back to you.
Yeah.
It's really true. It's really true.
Yeah.
True.
So when people come here and do medicine and that they go and they have this like profound experience for the week that they're here, like how do they keep it going? Like what can they do to for maintenance
I think
at home?
The greatest thing about medicine is that because it's not a quasi experience, because it's a real experience, like reading a book about a guy who spoke to God is great.
Mm-hmm.
It's great shit. God said this, and then they memorize that. This is what God told Abraham. This is what, fuck all that. Like, do the medicine and have God tell you.
Right.
And when God tells you, you tend to hang on to
experience.
It's your experience.
It's a wisdom.
And if he tells you to wear a fucking Saudi Arabian flag tied around your head, go fucking do it. Go do it. And you'll see whatever you're being told by this is true and authentic. So it's so much different. It's so much more real. And that's why of all these things, the est and
right.
What's the other one? Landmark and all these things, they go away and they get this weak thing, and I want to tell you, it's valuable stuff. It's great stuff. And then they fight to hold on to it.
Yeah, even like business seminars and like mastermind groups and
that's
stuff.
even
Same
hard.
thing.
It's hard to
you
hang
go
on
and
to.
it's like this amazing thing, and then you go home and you're like, fuck, what do I do?
Hard to, right?
Yeah.
But when God talks to you and you talk to God and God talks back, and I listen to people all the time and say, well, God talks to me every day. And I say, yeah, but you can't fucking hear it. So the thing is, like, if you do this medicine, you actually hear it. And then the thing is, and that's why, like, people who come back from Landmark and you ask them 3 months later, how'd it go? Right? If they go to one of these seminars or do one of these things, and a lot of them hang on to little pieces of it, and that's great. And some who are really, really strong hang on to the whole thing, and that's good too. But I've never seen anything that changes someone's life forever like plant medicine. I've never seen it. Now, it's probably out there, and the answer might be in virtual reality. The answer could possibly be, if I were going to make a prediction about the future, I would say that in VR, there is an answer that has yet to been discovered, but it's there. Because the experience of that, your mind can't tell the difference. That's why these people put on these glasses and they see the shit that
have
they
you
do.
done it?
I have one.
You have it? Yeah. What ones do you have?
I have a cheap one. I got like $150 at Best Buy. It's still in the box in there. I have one, but I've been watching videos online of people doing it on roller coasters and shit, and like you can't tell the difference. And that's the thing. There's something in VR. Yeah,
my friend Jesse Elder is a coach, and was my first guest. He was also one of my coaches. He actually is doing something with this. Like, he's trying to make something with virtual reality to get people to like change their perception of reality. Like, because he does plant, like, he's never done ayahuasca, but plant medicines and stuff like that.
Will you put me in touch with him?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
he's
I'd
amazing.
like to talk to him because my next project in life here after this thing is going is
you guys would like have such a great conversation.
Yeah, because I would like to try to figure out how to do that. Figure out how to
extend it past here, I think, and
how to give the experience to someone that can't. That there are people that have heart conditions and things that can't do medicine, and are that the risk is too high for them to do it. High blood pressure people, And I think that there's an answer in virtual reality. I really think there is.
It's amazing.
I really, really do. And it's super, super, super interesting that this exists.
Yeah.
And it does.
It's a great time.
Yeah.
Like, all this stuff is just coming together.
It is a great time. It's the most amazing time.
Yeah. So I guess I think that's a great place to end it.
Okay, great.
Because I have to go catch a plane
back
to
worries,
New Jersey,
man.
Unfortunately.
Going to Jersey.
Yeah, going to Jersey, back to,
to the world.
Civilization, if you want to call it that.
Back to the world.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate this week and this time here, and it's been such an amazing experience for me. I can't even explain it.
Well,
I can't even put it in words.
You and your wife are two of our favorite guests ever.
Thank you.
And I'm really happy, and I know that you're going to be back.
Yeah, of course.
And that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Good, man.
Thank you. Thank you, Jerry.
Cheers.
Thank you guys for listening to today's episode. I really appreciate all the support and all the kind words that I'm getting about these podcasts. It really fires me up to want to do more and to help you guys out as much as I possibly can. So if you haven't already, you can leave a review in iTunes. I would really, really appreciate it. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next episode.